Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It's Friday. This is of course the press conference reaction to Marco Silva's press conference earlier today ahead of tomorrow's Premier League game against Sheffield United at Goodison Park. We're going to go through some of the things that Marco Silva's discussed. We're going to provide a little injury update as well as he spoke about in his press conference, and overall we're just going to delve a little bit deeper into some of the conversations he had with the journalists that were present at USM Finch Farm. So before we dive into it, I'm just going to tweet today's team out so everybody on Twitter knows that we are live. In case any of you noticed, I'm just going to address the elephant in the room. I have had another haircut. It looks extremely short again. However, I really like it. It just is. It's easier to manage. And for me, I quite like it short these days, so I'm going to continue to keep it short. However, at £16 an haircut, I don't know how often I'll be visiting the barbers because it is a little bit steep to just get a skinhead, basically, when I can basically get my dad to do it with his clippers for free. Ian says, how do Ian? I hope you are doing well. So we'll dive straight into Marco Silva's quotes. We'll dive straight into some of the things he discussed in today's press conferences. That is why we are here. So firstly, he was started to discuss obviously the impact that the fans had on the team. He was asked about the away form and what he thinks is the difference between playing away from home and playing at Goodison Park and why the results are showing quite a clear difference. He said that we are really strong playing in our stadium with our fans. We have to do this again tomorrow. Again, obviously understanding that the fans are a massive part of the team at Goodison Park and a massive part of pushing the team forward to go and get those results, you know, like the one against Watford and like the one against Wolves as well. Max says score prediction. I don't usually do score predictions, but I'm going to go 3-1 Everton. It's just a safe one, isn't it? He then went on to discuss about the away form and discuss specifically the fans' frustration. Obviously, he understands that the fans were very frustrated after last week's result. We all were absolutely appalled by the performance and the result last week. He went on to say, we understand why the fans are frustrated. If you analyse the mood in our dressing room at that moment, we were frustrated too. It's something we're looking to change. It's really tough to play in the away in the Premier League. Now, that's really interesting there. The fact that he said, obviously, if you analyse the mood in our dressing room, we were really frustrated too, and then you could take that a couple of ways. You could take that as I'm saying, well, it wasn't just the fans, basically we were annoyed at ourselves, but the difference is we can't do anything about that performance away from home. We can't do anything about those players not turning up and not performing on the day, whereas they can and Marco Silva can. So hopefully he's not just saying that as a, well, yeah, we were frustrated that, well, it wasn't just them, because, you know, realistically, they had the power to change the game. They had the ability to go out there and not let that frustration get to them and go out and win that game of football, and they didn't. So I don't necessarily think he's using it as an excuse. However, it could be seen as that. But, you know, it's interesting to obviously hear that the fans weren't, that the players obviously weren't very happy with the result of the performance either, but we've heard it all before. We've heard it multiple times before under multiple different managers. There's no good getting absolutely turned over against any team in the Premier League, coming out afterwards and saying, oh, we weren't happy with that performance. Well, yeah, no shit, you weren't happy with that performance. You're not going to come out and go, yeah, well, we're happy with that, aren't we? We're happy with getting turned around 3-1 by Bournemouth away from home. No, so it's important that Marco Silva understands that. You know, he can come out and he can say, you know, we weren't happy with the performance either, we weren't happy with the result, but they need to go out and prove that they can change that. He then went on to talk about away form further. He said, we have improved our away form. Last season we were better than the previous seasons, but we need to do better. It's up to us to react and achieve a result. Now is a home game and not time to talk about that situation. We have to put full focus on Sheffield United, and we can talk about the away form next week. Now again, a little something in there that could have, you know, been seen negatively. I'm saying, you know, we need to improve on our away form. Well, we've improved on it since, you know, a couple of seasons ago, and that's fair enough. We have improved, you know, since the days of Ronald Koeman, etc. But Ronald Koeman was a shocking manager who didn't understand how to manage a football team. So we were expected to improve, and I think it's very important that Marco Silva added that, but we know we need to do better at the end of that, so it didn't just seem like a palming off the question and saying, well, we've improved since I've come in, so don't have a go at me. He understands that obviously he needs to improve massively, and there's a lot of things that he needs to get right that he's not getting right at the minute. Again, he's saying obviously that it's a home game now and it's not the time to talk about that situation. We have to fully focus on Sheffield United, and that's fair enough. We've got a game tomorrow. We're not away from home. We're at Goodison Park. We need to put full focus into that game, and we need to go out and get the 3 points. He said we can talk about that again next week. So fully expect now, whether we win, draw or lose tomorrow, for the journalists and for the people at USM Finch Farm to be bringing up that away form again before next week's away fixture, and probably before the Sheffield Wednesday fixture as well in midweek in the Carabao Cup. So obviously he said that we've improved since last season, since the season before last. So he knows we need to get better. However, he understands that, you know, we've got Sheffield United at home tomorrow, and that's important that we go on to talking about that game rather than dwelling on the games of the past, which I suppose is fair enough. He then went on to talking about the fans in the stadium themselves at Goodison Park. He said, the 12th man will be there in the stadium tomorrow. Sheffield United are good playing away. It's up to us to do our job, start the game well, and play with intensity. Now, again, he's saying that the fans are going to be there, the fans are going to be able to drive the team forward, the fans are going to be, again, like that 12th man that can sort of force the ball into the back of the net. Now, that is true, and obviously it's really, really important that he's acknowledging that, really, really important that he's acknowledging the power of the fans at Goodison Park. It begs the question as to, well, can we perform when the fans aren't there? Can we perform when the so-called 12 man isn't there, when there's not 40,000, you know, Evertonians sitting at the stadium? And obviously we need to go on and prove that we can do that. But, you know, you can't really have a go at Marco Silva for saying that, you know, the fans are going to be there in force tomorrow, singing their hearts out and pushing us towards a 3 points. And again, he's pretty much saying there that not only do we have to perform better as a team, but we've got the fans there who are going to be spurring us on. So there's literally no excuse to knock out and get the win tomorrow for me. And he's absolutely spot on. Start the game well and play with intensity. That's exactly what we need to do. We need to start on the front foot. We're going to talk about Andre Gomes a little bit later on in the stream. He's confirmed that Andre Gomes was in fact still out injured, so a big opportunity for him to put Tom Davies in there, and that will be a big statement of intent to say, right, we're starting this game on the front foot, we're starting positively, we're going intensely, and we're going to get the 3 points. If he starts Morgan Schneiderlin, you're playing two central defensive midfielders against the newly promoted team who have struggled this season. It's not really starting the game with intensity, and it's not really starting the game with positivity, so it'll be interesting to see what he does with that one. Ian says if we start well 4-0, if we don't 2-1. I assume that's a 2-1 win. Listen, I'll take it. It's a 3 points. It's 3 points. Jeff says, alright fella, alright Jeff, you'd all be doing well. Another day, another round of bullshit excuses and sob stories. Fair enough. If you caught Marco Silva's pre-game press conference earlier on, or you've seen some of the quotes on social media since then, let me know your thoughts on the press conference in the comments as well. It'd be really, really interesting to hear what you guys have to say about that. Sukin Kennedy says we need to go effing go at them like crazies, otherwise it'll be 1-1 or something depressing like that. We need to go out there and we need to, you know, Marco Silva's very, very hell-bent on discussing respecting the opponent, and you know, you understand that. It's fair enough. He's not only saying that because I genuinely think he does respect the opponent, but he's also saying that so he doesn't make himself look a little bit of a fool if things don't go our way. But you know, I just, for me as a fan, I want that sort of, it's not cockiness, it's not arrogance, but I want that confidence to come out and go, well, yeah, we do need to respect Sheffield United, but we are the better team, so we need to go out there and get the 3 points because we are better than these. And he seems to skirt around saying that pretty much every single week in the press conferences, whether we're playing City, Liverpool, Chelsea, or, you know, Villa, Bournemouth, Sheffield United. It's always like, well, you know, we need to respect our opponent. We need to understand that, you know, they can play well at times. It's never, yeah, we can respect them, but we're the better team, so we're going to go out there and realistically push for the win on the weekend. And, you know, for me, I'd like to hear a little bit more of that. Obviously, again, he said about how we need to respect Sheffield United, Sheffield United, sorry. We need to go out there and we need to, you know, do what we need to do to get the 3 points and play with intensity. So let's go out there and play with intensity, and there's no excuse. I don't want to see Morgan Schneiderlin passing the ball sideways and passing the ball backwards after 10 minutes tomorrow. I want to see Tom Davies picking the ball up and driving it forward. I want to see Richarlison picking the ball up and driving it towards goal. I want to see this back line of Sheffield United absolutely shitting themselves from minute 1 to minute 90. I don't want to see any lackadaisicalness. I don't want to see any, you know, non-intent play, because he's come out now and said we need to play with intensity, so there's no excuse for us to not do that. Jeff says our players need to learn about personal responsibility. They pass when they should shoot because they don't want to fail. It's cowardice. Our players yeah, listen, I think it's a good point. They do. I think players do need to sort of realise when they need to have that little bit more confidence to have a go themselves or to drive the ball forward. And I do think there's been a case this season of players not wanting to take on that responsibility because they've not been wanted to blame. Now, you can understand our fans do get a little bit frustrated at players. You know, Dominic Calvert-Lewin got it massively last weekend, despite the fact that I don't think he was the worst player on the pitch in an Everton shirt. But they just need to, like you said there, they just need to swallow it, you know, do what they need to do and do what they believe is right, and not, well, I'm just going to play this off because it's the easier option. If you're enjoying today's team, by the way, please do hit the like button. It means a massive amount to me. Let's see if we can get to 5 likes before the end of it. Jeff says the fact that they need a siren to get them up for the game is a big problem. They should not need anything to get them. Listen, I think the siren's a big part of it. I think the fans are a big part of it. I think the atmosphere at Goodison Park over the last 7 to 8 months is a big part of it. But you're absolutely spot on. Certainly when we're playing sides like Villa, Fulham last season, season, Bournemouth, Sheffield United, we shouldn't need 40,000 fans screaming and shouting for us to go out there and get the 3 points. We should have a good enough team. We should have more than enough quality in the side to go out and get those 3 points, even if there's no Evertonians sitting in that stadium, even if nobody's tuned in, which would never be the case. We still should have enough quality to go out there and get the 3 points. Kanazukan says 100%, agree 100%, Cap, thank you very much. So yeah, like you said, he went on to talking about obviously the fans and how they'll be the 12th man in tomorrow's game. He also went on to talking about the frustration of fans. Again, he said the fans want to see the team play with full commitment and give 100%. It's up to us to be patient because it's not easy for the fans to be patient in the stadium. So again, he's picking up on the fact that it's not easy for fans to be sitting in the stadium and say let's have a little bit of patience, especially when we're watching performances like the Sheffield United performance, like the Bournemouth performance, like the Aston Villa performance. It's not easy for us to sit back and go, yeah, we need to just be patient here. Listen, he's right in saying they need to be the patient ones and they need to understand, but him coming out and saying a clear result, him coming out and saying the fans want the team to play with full commitment and give 100%, that is absolutely spot on, and it shouldn't be the fans want that, it should be the players and the team are playing with 100% and full commitment anyway, regardless of any situation. The minimum we expect as a fan base, the minimum we expect going to Goodison Park, going to the Etihad, going to Anfield, going to Old Trafford, the minimum we expect every time a player puts that royal blue jersey on is 100% commitment and effort. If you're not doing that, and don't fuck off. If you're not giving 100%, if you're not out, if you're waltzing around, if you don't care, get off the pitch. That is the minimum we expect. And as Evertonians, we've watched years and years and years of footballers. I'm not going to mention names because it'd be unfair, but footballers that weren't the most talented whatsoever, didn't have all the technical ability in the world, but you know what? They give their all every single game. Leon Osman, one of them. I'll throw his name out there. Tony Ibbott. Always give their all every single week. And you know what? Leon Osman was a really, really good footballer, but he wasn't the most talented player you've ever seen in an Everton shirt. But what he done was give us 100% every single week in, week out. Everton legends, Tim Cahill, he was technically really, really good, but wasn't one of the the world's best players when he was at Everton, but still give 100% for the shirt every time he put it on. And that's exactly what we want, and that's what turns these players into legends. And Marco Silva obviously understands and appreciates that the fans want that, but it shouldn't be a case of, well, the fans want that, so we're going to have to give it. It should be the players are given that anyway. Now, I'm saying obviously the players need to be patient. That's fair enough. They do need to be patient because things take time, and I think he's referring to the likes of obviously Moise Keane needing to be patient with coming into the team and settling in, etc., and some of the other new signings. But in terms of the players that have been there now for a couple of years, you're looking at Pickford, you're looking at Michael Keane, you're looking at Schneiderlin, you're looking at Gomes, who obviously was there last season, Richarlison. They shouldn't need to have time. They shouldn't need to be patient. It should be an instant 100% commitment from the off. Jeff says, I'm obviously angry and I'm sorry for that, Cam, but in all honesty, can you remember the last time we were up against it and came out on top? We fall like wet pepper. You don't need to be sorry, mate. I 100% understand where you're coming from, and to an extent, I agree. You're absolutely spot on. I can't remember the last time we were severely under pressure or losing a game of football by a couple of goals and we brought ourselves back to get something out of that game. Again, that's a mentality issue. That's not something that Marco Silva specifically spoke about in terms of mentality, but it wasn't a question asked either by the journalist. That's mentality. That's something that we have to fix as a club in a whole, and not just as a manager and a starting 11. But don't apologise for being angry, mate. Listen, we were all absolutely fuming after Sunday's game. I was livid. I done the instant match reaction and then thought I don't want to fucking hear about Everton again for at least the next couple of days, and then obviously you done the game review, and you just get more frustrated watching these games and looking at these performances. It says, I agree, players inspire fans, players get paid, fans pay money. Yeah, exactly, and you know what? Again, he's right in what he's saying, that the fans are the 12th man and the fans get behind the players and the players feed off that, and that's 100% spot on, and there's nothing wrong with that quote, but that shouldn't have to be the case away from home. The excuse away from home shouldn't be, and it's not, he hasn't come out and said this, but it shouldn't be, well, we didn't have the fans there, we didn't have the 12 man, so, we struggled a little bit, especially when you're playing sides that, on paper, we should be blathering. And he's not come out and said, that we lost the Bournemouth game because we didn't have the, it wasn't at Goodison Park, or we didn't have the 12th man. He hasn't come out and said that whatsoever, but I just hope that he realises that is the case. Please do leave a like on today's team if you are enjoying, by the way. Kanasugan says, would like to see Davis in. Yeah, I would as well, absolutely spot on. Mac and Cheese says, have you got a similar? I have. I went today, got an 8 on the top, which looks very, very short, but apparently because I'm blonde, it's always going to look short. And then just a 0. to whatever on the sides. So yeah, thanks for noticing. I hope you like it. Pretia, listen, I'm not even entertaining the Liverpool comments anymore. We're here to talk about Marco Silva's press conference ahead of an Everton game that's got nothing to do with Liverpool, so I don't quite understand why they're necessary, but, you know, whatever. Lavovitz says, in your opinion, Dogs of War was not... In view of your opinion, sorry, Dogs of War was not pretty, but we would give a right arm for Joe Parkinson and Barry Horn. Exactly, and there's players in that Dogs of War team. There's players in the when we were massively successful in the 80s. There's players in the Moyes era that weren't technically unbelievable, but we consistently finished 5th, 6th every single season. We pushed for Champions League football pretty much every single season with these players that were, let's say, not as technically gifted as some of the players we've got now, but they had the heart, they had the inspiration, they had the commitment that I don't think some of the players have got now, and that's what we're massively lacking. Mac and Cheese says, I spent £200 going down to Bournemouth to watch these players who didn't put any effort in, but I'm sick of the Silva out. 5 games in, 41, etc. Yes, a win is a win, but I think of the draws there, Spurs is one. Exactly, and listen, I'm not Silva out yet. I think it's very, very premature, but he does need to massively improve the away form. Spurs was a game last season that we should have got the 3 points in. We let that result go. A decent draw at the end of it, but we should have got the 3 points. And, you know, like you've said there, you know, teams like Bournemouth, Villa, etc., you know, we should be beaten without needing, you know, massive amounts of fans or commitment or whatever. We should just have enough quality on the pitch. David says, time to bin Schneiderlin, Coleman and DCL. None of them are good enough for us. If we want to push on, we need quality. I love Seamus, but it's done for now. Fair enough. Let me know your thoughts on that one. Listen, I think we need to improve the squad. And I think if Seamus continues to perform like he did against Bournemouth, I think, you know, Sidibe will be brought in to be given a chance, and I dare say Marco Silva will be looking elsewhere in the summer to bring in a right back as a long-term replacement for Seamus Coleman. Obviously, that will all depend on how John Joe Kenny performs at Schalke for the rest of the season. He started very, very well, but we'll see if he can keep that up. Jeff says, imagine this squad had the mentality and fight of Moyes' best teams would be second in the league. I couldn't agree more, mate. I could not agree more. If this squad had the commitment, the understanding of Everton Football Club, like you've said there, the fight and the mentality of that David Moyes team, then, you know, we'll be well up there for fighting for the Champions League this season. And it wouldn't be Everton could break into the top 4, it'd be Everton a top 4 team, because you know, we've got players with more quality than we had at that time, in my opinion anyway. But like you said, they just haven't got the art or the commitment, so it seems anyway. And if any of them are watching, if Marco Silva's watching and they have got the art and the commitment, show us it. Show me it tomorrow. Go out there and batter Sheffield United, because we should do. Go out there and win your next 4 away games on the trot. You know, I understand that, you know, most of them are against top sides, but show the art, show the passion. If we're going to get beat by City anyway, show the passion, show the art. I don't know, Marco Silva or none of the team will be watching this stream, but that's just my thoughts. And Pretty says, you've never pushed for the Champions League football. We were in the Champions League under Moyes, mate, so... This is another Liverpool fan who started supporting Liverpool probably last season and doesn't know much about football, but there you go. You can have your opinion, they can have your opinion. Marco Silva then went on to talk about results. He said a clear result is what the fans want, but in football it isn't always like that. I understand the fans, but we have to respect our opponents. Again, banging on about respecting the opponent. Again, basically saying that, you know, you're not always going to get a clear result. You're not always going to get a clean sheet, and that's fair enough, mate. If we won 6-5 tomorrow, if we win by 1 goal and we concede 3, but we win 4-3 every single game, I won't have an issue, mate, whatsoever. I won't be talking about clean sheets or clean results. We need to get results and we need to get winning, and I think he understands that. I think he's just trying to push on to the fact that it's still a building process, and it's never ever, you know, it's not going to be clean for the entirety of the season. You know, we're not going to go a season without conceding a goal. He then went on to talk about players coming into the squad, and he was asked a specific question about, because obviously of the performance against Bournemouth, because of the loss against Bournemouth, does this now mean he'd be looking to change the squad? Does this now mean he'd be looking to bring some players in? He said, there's always an opportunity, the competition is high, it's up to me to decide the best 11 for the match. We won't change anything because we've lost a football game. We change regardless of the result. Now again, you know, pretty interesting. Obviously, he's coming out there saying if you do see changes in the squad tomorrow, if you do see changes in the team, it's not because we've lost the game of football. And I think that is as much for himself saying that, as much for the fans saying that, as it is for the players. He'll understand that there'll be players keeping an eye on this press conference, there'll be players keeping an eye on social media, and I think he's basically covering his back and keeping the team morale up by saying, If you left out the team tomorrow, aka if a Dominic Calvert-Lewin is, if a Morgan Schneiderlin is, then it's not because you performed poorly against Bournemouth, it's because there's other competition and they deserve their opportunity. He also, went on and said that, if we win, we could still look to change the team. If we lose, we could still look to change the team. So, again, pretty much addressing the fact that there may be changes in tomorrow's starting 11. He may look to bring in the likes of Moise Keane, he may look to bring in the likes of Tom Davies. He didn't specifically say those names, but again, addressing the fact that other players could come into this team and just basically covering us back with in terms of the players and saying it's not because we've been beaten, it's because the competition is high in the team. He then went on to talk about probably the biggest point of the press conference today, and that was that Andre Gomes remains injured. He continues with his hip injury. He said he's working hard in training every single day. However, he is still out for tomorrow's game. He answered the question pretty quick. As soon as the journalist said Andre Gomes' name, he said no, out, injured still. He also confirmed that Jean-Philippe Gbamin is still injured. He is working hard again, but both will miss tomorrow's game. So like we spoke about in yesterday's preview, big opportunity now for Tom Davies, big opportunity now for him to come in, hopefully, and prove that he should be in and around this squad going forward. He may go with Morgan Schneiderlin again, but I think that wouldn't be showing the intensity that he's spoken about today, going with two defensive midfielders against Sheffield United. I keep noticing Pretashar banging in comments, you'll never get in the top 4, Champions League, blah blah blah, Champions League Europe. You're watching an Everton fan channel, you're watching an Everton fan talk about a press conference regarding a game that's got nothing to do with you. So cheers for the view, lad. Cheers for the view. That's all I can say. You're not going to get any Evertonian in the chat. I can see everyone's just pretty much ignoring them or saying what's the point. So if that's what you're looking for, I'd just leave, because you're not going to get it, mate. Liverpool fans are obsessed with Everton. We're in your head. You're not in our head, mate. We couldn't give a fuck. He then went on to talking about Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and he was asked a specific question about Dominic Calvert-Lewin obviously coming up against his former team, how that'll have an effect on him. He said, yes, to play against his former club, it's always a good feeling. I think Dom will have this feeling in the opposite way. Phil Jagielka will have the same feeling. So obviously acknowledging that Phil Jagielka will be returning to Goodison for the first time since obviously leaving Everton Football Club in the summer. It'd be obviously fantastic to see Jags here tomorrow. It'd be fantastic to give him a standing ovation, I dare say. Unbelievable serving for Everton Football Club. Again, another one of those players that didn't always have all the quality in the world, but give us heart, give us all every single week for the badge. So it'd be really nice to see Jags back again. Dare say similarly for the Sheffield United fans, similar obviously with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He was asked specifically, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin a feature, and he said, well, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin starts or comes on or has a part to play. So again, wasn't giving anything away in terms of the starting 11, in terms of whether Dom will be in there or not. I would hope that Moise Keane will be in there, just because I think it screams a little bit more positivity and a little bit more intensity. However, obviously he was talking specifically about Dom playing against his old club and having that feeling, as well as Phil Jagielka. David says, we had Champions League and got screwed by Kalina. Exactly, spot on. Jeff says, yes, that's the big frustration. This is the best squad we've had in 30 years in terms of pure talent. Fair enough. Mac and Cheese says, would you place DB over Coleman? He is only a 1 year loan and we can't let it go to waste. People were overreacting about his performance against Lincoln. I thought it was okay. I agree. I thought he was okay against Lincoln, to be honest with you. I don't think he was as bad as a lot of people were making out. In terms of would they start him, I wouldn't be opposed to giving him a go. I don't think Marco Silva will start him personally, but I wouldn't be opposed to giving him a go. I'm going to ignore Pretislav's comments because we've spoken about it. Jeff says, we are so poorly run right from the board room to the tea lady. I'm fed up with Ken Wright and how he runs Everton. The man has ruined Everton over the past 25 years. Listen, maybe that's a conversation for a different live stream. Maybe that's something we can talk about on a different day. I have the opinion that Bill Kenwright saved Everton Football Club, and I have the opinion that at the minute, yes, there may be one or two issues in terms of the board and the hierarchy, but at the minute it really is on the pitch and nailing that down. And, Farhad Mashiri, Bill Kenwright, they've not got much to do with the fact that we can't go to Bournemouth and get 3 points. But it's definitely something worth talking about, and maybe we'll do another live stream talking about the board and talking about the hierarchy. Steve says, we need to go all out tomorrow and just start smashing balls into the box from left, right and centre and show them Goodison's a hard ground to play at. Spot on, mate, spot on. We need to be consistently creating opportunities and, more importantly, consistently scoring goals and getting the 3 points tomorrow. Jeff says, why are Cobbites on our site? I don't know. David says the formation is wrong. Again, something that he didn't quite discuss in today's press conference, something that we spoke about yesterday in the preview. Will Marco Silva ever have the inkling to change his formation. Obviously, we've had this formation now for a number of years under a number of different managers, and it hasn't worked. Will he ever change it? I don't know. I'd certainly like him to change it. I'd certainly like him to switch it up a little bit and maybe bring in players that you wouldn't usually see playing with, other players. But I don't know whether he'd do that. And again, I don't know whether he understands that the formation, if it is the thing that isn't working, I don't think he quite knows that yet. Mac and Cheese says, I weirdly feel like that comment has been on more Everton videos than he's been to games at Anfield. I don't think it's a weird feeling, mate. I think it's probably true. Jeff says, it's nothing to do with Ken Wright, with being relegated without Ken Wright. He's brilliant at negotiating with contracts and transfers. It's personal responsibility of the players. I agree with that. I'm more on that side. David says, top six is our minimum requirement this season. Machiri has said it himself. We need to get it going. Yes, spot on. I agree. We've got more than enough quality in the team to finish in that top six. It's the consistency and it's the away form as well. And if we don't put hard ideas up soon, we won't finish in that top six. So it's important that we do start to put hard ideas up. No need for the arguments in the live comments. Come on, the two Jeffs. Let's calm it down. Now, we're all entitled to an opinion, and that's obviously fair enough. Mac and Cheese says, Jeff, nah, he's right. You can't blame the ball for how the players play on the pitch. I agree. Jeff says, did Schneiderlin and Coleman all play when we beat United 4-0 last season? Seamus did. I think they all did, yeah. I think they all did. I don't know whether Schneiderlin did. Or did he? Because was that when was Gomes out? I can't remember, mate. To be honest with you, Seamus Coleman definitely did the thing. Jeff says, again, we're not gonna go into talking about comments like that. Please, don't get into arguments. Don't get into frustration. If you disagree with each other, that's fair enough. But we can have everyone can have an opinion, and then obviously we move on and we understand that there's no need for personal digs whatsoever. Where are we? David says, or who's gonna ultimately fail? Jeff says 25 years as chairman and 25 years no Silva. We've won a trophy in those 25 years, but I do understand some of your frustrations. Where are we? But not because of lack of effort. Yes, spot on. David says it's on fire here tonight. Predators, I'm not getting involved with your comments. And Mac and Cheese says, Jeff, just stop me. Yeah, let's stop the personal comments. Let's stop all of that because and Jeff says he called me a bell cam. I did not start any. No, I know. I understand. It's on it's on his part. We can agree to disagree. We don't have to argue about our points. If you've got a different opinion, that's spot on. That's fair enough. We're all entitled to it, of course, but we don't need to go into personal digs whatsoever. Jeff Thompson hasn't done anything wrong there. He's just expressed his opinion, and that's it. Like I'm doing, and like everybody else is doing in the live comments. So we don't need to go into any personal digs whatsoever. It's not on. FGA says under 23s winning again. Give them a go. LOL. Yeah, exactly. Anthony Gordon, fantastic the other night. Some of the under 23s will be really, really knocking on Marco Silva's door, and I dare say he'll have a look at them over the next couple of weeks and months. Marco Silva then went on to talking about again Phil Jagielka again in terms of commitment. He says the players who give 100% commitment to the shirt will get the reception they deserve. Phil Jagielka will have that tomorrow until the moment the game kicks off. So a little bit of humour there again, saying that Phil Jagielka give 100% commitment every time he put the shirt on for Everton. We know that as a fan base we could do with a little bit more of that, to be honest with you. In the squad at the minute, but he'll be given a fantastic reception tomorrow. The fans will get behind him, the fans will support him until, like Marco Silva says, the game kicks off, and then we hope he makes 5 mistakes like we said yesterday. He then went on to talking about the team, the squad as a whole. He said we changed 1 or 2 things last summer, but it is more or less the same players. We have to become a solid team again. So again, not keen to blame it on the newcomers, not keen to blame it on the new players that have been introduced to the team, basically saying that there's not been much change since last summer other than a couple of players coming in. So we can't really blame it on that, and we need to just find a solid, consistent level of playing again, like we did towards the back end of last season. He spoke about recent conceded goals. He said it's hard for us when mistakes come from individuals. It's easier to rectify when it's the team, but we need to work on being more aggressive and switched on all the time. Switched on again, something that we've spoke about multiple times in the live streams, multiple times in the game reviews about how loads of the goals that we're conceding seem to be from players not concentrating, seem to be from players losing concentration, and just free kicks, corners where they're looking out elsewhere and what's for me tea? Oh, look at that fella there. Oh, that's a nice jacket. That, wonder where he got that from. Next minute the ball's in the back of the net. So at least he's understanding that. At least he's looking at that, and he is appreciating that is a massive problem, and that the players need to be more glued on. Where are we? Jeff says, I'll defend myself though. Yep, spot on, mate. You're right to defend yourself 100%. Chris says, hi mate, what have I missed? Just Marco Silva press conference talk, really. Nothing much. Little bit of sauciness in the live comments as well. Mac and Cheese says, look, we're all angry after Bournemouth, and I understand how people can flip, but we're all Blues, let's just be nice, Spot on, Mac and Cheese, spot on. Brilliant comment that, and absolutely spot on. Jeff says, some spicy chat, Chris. It was. Chris says, my prediction, Everton 2, Sheffield United 1. I hope so. I really do hope so. FGA Football says, we'll beat these with ease, and I've got a feeling we'll beat City. It's the away form that needs sorting. Until then, we'll be between 8th and 10th. I agree. Listen, I think we will beat Sheffield United tomorrow, and I think we've got a really good chance against City as well. I think we've got a good chance against anyone at Goodison Park, but you're 100%. It's the away form that we really need to nail down. Jeff says, I'm only defending myself. Exactly. Spot on. Spot on. Chris says, fair enough, Jeff. Ian says, to be fair, on Snarden, it was difficult to leave him out last month or two of the last season. Form temporary, as they say, but it's players who cross the line. I've got an opinion on Morgan Schneider, and a lot of people will disagree with it, and it'll cause a lot of staring, whether it's in this live comments or in the live comments of future videos. I don't think Morgan Schneider is particularly a bad footballer. I think Morgan Schneider is being used poorly by Marco Silva. I think Morgan Schneider is being asked to be doing too much, and I think fans sort of get this false representation that he's a player that's going to drive us forward. He's a player that's got loads of quality in the midfield. He's not. He does what he does, and he does it okay. He's not brilliant, he's not awful, but he's also not a player that's going to go out his way to do anything more than he knows he can do. Again, he hasn't really got that commitment. He hasn't really got that want to go out there and go the extra mile, and I understand how fans can turn on that, because you should be going the extra mile, but Morgan Schneider's a very useful player when he's used correctly. When he's not used correctly, he's pretty much irrelevant, and I think Marco Silva's been using him incorrectly over the last few weeks. Live Vid says, are you planning to do a watch along when they are live? Hopefully at some point in the future when we've got away games that are live, I'll definitely be looking at doing watch alongs 100%. Mac and G says, that's the thing, FGA, we could have been second in 3 games, a win at Bournemouth, a win against United, and then we have the team in second after that. Exactly, but it's never the case with Everton, is it? It's never the case. David says, Bernard out left, Iwobi central, Siggy on the bench. I will place the debate to give Seamus a wake up. I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy with Bernard out left and Iwobi in the 10. I really will be happy with that. And Sidibe coming in as well, but it's whether Marco Silva will go with that. I personally don't think he will. However, I wouldn't be opposed to that whatsoever. Jeff says, if we get beat tomorrow, it'll be a shocking start to the season. I agree, it will. Jeff Thompson says, I would like to see Bernard back too. He brings the best out of Delphin. I'd like to see Iwobi tied in the 10. I would as well. I really do. I think Iwobi could play fantastically in the 10. It was a position that he played frequently for Arsenal, a position that we know he can play, a position that Marcel Brands knows he can play. Whether Marco Silva will drop Gylfi Sigurdsson, I don't know, but it'd be really interesting to see Bernard back in the team and Iwobi in that 10 role. David says, you've already said pretty useless. Chris says, move on, Pretty Chat, it's Everton's chat, not our chat. See, that's a Liverpool fan that knows what he's talking about and absolutely understands exactly. Listen, I'm just going to add him because this user's message will be hidden. There you go. I'm just going to add him because he's just getting on everyone's tits. Even Chris, who's a fellow Liverpool fan, he's getting on his nerves as well. Yeah, big up yourself, Chris, as usual. Eugene says, Everton will get back to winning ways tomorrow afternoon against Sheffield United. I hope so. Anyway, moving back on to Marco Silva's press conference, he spoke about promoted teams. He was asked the question as to whether he believes that the promoted teams that have come up this year better than the promoted teams that have come up in previous years. He basically said, I can tell you that if you've come from a very good season and got promoted, you come with enthusiasm and want to play well. Again, he said, he was talking, he said that it's not necessarily about the teams that are coming up are better than they've been in previous years, but the teams that are coming up with momentum. They're coming up having come off the back of a good championship season, so let's expect them to want to win games of football, especially so early on in the season as well. They haven't really had time to go through a struggle patch. They haven't really fully settled in, so they are purely playing off momentum. They are purely playing off that optimism and that confidence. So, I think he's spot on with that one. He then went on to talking about us as a whole. He said, we have to look at ourselves as always. The end we want is to win. If we can win performing well, that'll be fantastic for the fans. He also says we need to improve on the good things and learn from the not so good things from last week. So again, saying that, you know, we need to get better at the things that we're doing well, but we also need to improve on the things that we aren't doing so well, because we were really, really poor last week. And finally, on Andre Gomes, he said we'll monitor Gomes day by day. However, he remains not fit to start. So yeah, that's pretty much the conclusion of Marco Silva's press conference, concluding it there by saying we need to improve on the things that we're doing well, and we need to really, really iron out the things that we're not doing well. And you know, you can't really have any issue with that. It's 100%, it's spot on. He understands that we're not performing well away from home at the minute. We need to improve on that away form, and you know, we need to also improve on the home form, because again, even at home we conceded, you know, twice against Wolves. So we need to improve on not doing that again in the future. If you have enjoyed today's team, please do leave a like. Let's get back into the live comments before we end it all. Ralph says we're only as good as the last game. Shit, it is. Fair enough, I agree. David says, yeah, full of shit, pretty. Yes, he is. Mac and Cheese says, come on, lads, let's march to the EPL headquarters, if there is one, and demand that all our games are home games would win the league. We would. If only. They don't like us at the best of times. Never mind if we wanted to go with them with that. Football Fan says, hi, channel going well, 1k soon, mate, well done. Thank you very much, thank you very, very much for that. It is, the support has been, you know, absolutely unbelievable over the last couple of weeks and months, etc. Where are we? Mac and Cheese says, oh no, what, Sheffield beat us now? I'm sorry, Blues. No, let's not even think about that. Football Fan says, can it be mod? I'm definitely going to be looking at putting some mods in the streams over the next couple of weeks. Something I'm going to sit down and look at very, very soon. And you know, I'll definitely think about yourself. I'll probably message it on Twitter, mate, about it. Steve says, if Cenk Tosun just getting swerved now that he hasn't even been thought of in the squad in the past few weeks, it's interesting. It's really, really interesting. I would like to hope that Cenk will be at least on the bench tomorrow and come on at some capacity. But you know, considering he had a really, really good spell for taking the international break, it's a little bit strange that he's not being considered. I do agree with that one. Football Fan says, where's the green screen gone? I need to get my lights set up, mate, before I can get the green screen back up and running. Ralph says, got you, mate. Cheers. David says, don't do that, Mark. Chris says, will Silva be under pressure if you don't win tomorrow? I think he will with fans. I don't think he will with the board, but I think he definitely will with fans. Jeff says he already is. Chris, last Saturday was bad day. It was. Chris says, no, Jeff, I'm happy it wasn't in the Premier League. Napoli at a class side with world-class managers, just an off day and frustrating game. Look at how he's played last season in the Champions League group stage. I think he's lost pretty much every away game in the Champions League group stage last season and went on to win the competition. So, you know, it doesn't make much difference at the end of the day, as long as you win your home games in the group. Jeff says we need to win, but Sheffield United will sit in if they score first. It'll be a hard game, and we need to be more disciplined on the park. They will win. Fab up and Richie as well. Yeah, you know, spot on. I 100% agree with you. If they do manage to score first, they'll sit back and they'll try and defend that, and it's important that if that happens, we go and we break them down. But you know, let's let it not happen. Let's go out there and absolutely blow them out the park and get the 3 points tomorrow, and let them get nowhere near the goal. Mac and G says that wasn't a pen, Chris. I feel bad for you. Fair enough. David says true, Chris. Eugene says Richarlison might get a hat-trick tomorrow afternoon against Sheffield United with 3 goals. I hope so, mate. I really do hope so. Jeff says the league is going to be yours this year, I think. I'm not going to comment on Liverpool in the league. Chris says if Silva did get the sack or leave, who would you get in as replacement? I don't know yet, to be honest, because I haven't thought about it, because I don't think he's anywhere near getting the sack. There'd be a lot of managers on the list, that they say, a lot of the same managers that were on the list before Marco Silva. Eddie Howe would be one of them, as Jeff says. Paulo Fonseca would probably be one of them as well, but I don't think he's anywhere near getting the sack. I just don't think the board will do that, certainly not early on in the season. David says Jeff, give up. Chris says we will, and see Jeff not getting carried away. Jeff says why not. Jeff Gillen says I said it before. So yeah, anyway, that's going to do it for today's live stream. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. 14 likes. Let's see if we can get to 15 before the end of the stream. Big game for us tomorrow. Obviously, Marco Silva understands that. We all understand that as fans. We know we need to go out there and we know we need to get the 3 points. Nothing more, nothing less is acceptable for me tomorrow night. 3 points, that's it. Let's go into tomorrow's game confident, go in with intensity like Silva says, come out with the 3 points, and then we can all enjoy a really, really good weekend. Hopefully it's sunny weather over here in Liverpool for the Blues tomorrow. If you haven't checked out the game preview to this game, please do go and check it out. It is on the channel. It's the most recent video. We done the live stream yesterday, so go and check that one out if you haven't already. Big thanks to everybody for getting involved as per usual. Really, really good stream today. Fantastic support as per usual, I can't thank it enough. I really, really can't. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for the instant match reaction, of course, to this game. Instantly after the game, I'll be giving my instant thoughts, instant opinions, and you know, listen, hopefully it's a positive one, and hopefully it's a 3 points. If you don't already, by the way, please do go and follow us on Twitter as well. We keep up to date with all the latest Everton news, all the latest news on the channel as well, and we cover the press conferences as and when they are happening as well. We'll be doing these press conference reactions after every single press conference. However, if you want to get some of the information, if you want to get some of Marco Silva's quotes instantly as they're happening, and you can't catch the press conference, do and go follow us over on Twitter. It's at Mighty Blues YT, just in the corner there, and you'll have seen all of this information earlier on today as well. But then also check out the press conference reactions as well, because you'll get to see me and my face and my boss new haircut as well. Anyway, big thanks for watching. Ralph says, Eddie Howe's got Silva up the wall. Jeff says, I do know Everton realistically we are poor end of. Chris says, good luck in your game tomorrow, no hard feelings. Thank you very much, Chris, really do appreciate that, and thanks for the support as usual. Jeff says, cheers Cam Laters, mate. Thank you very much, Jeff, thanks for getting involved as per usual, really do appreciate that. Evan FC is the best, says, hey, just as we're ending the stream, sorry about that, mate, but hello, I hope you're doing well. Chris says, great stream as always, and great channel, thank you very much, Chris, really do appreciate that. Ralph says, look at previous results, fair enough. Jeff says, cheers Chris, thank you very much Jeff, and thanks to everybody for getting involved. David says, cheers Chris, cheers David as well. Ian says, come on you Blues, yes, spot on. Ralph says, what will be, will be. What will be, will be. It will. Chris says, see you later everyone, take care. Thank you very much, take care of yourself Chris, and thanks for getting involved. And Eugene says, Everton vs Manchester United next Saturday evening, kick-off. Yeah, we've got a game tomorrow first though, let's get through that one. Let's not look past Sheffield United, let's not underestimate them, and let's just go out and get the 3 points tomorrow. Big thanks for watching, thanks to everybody for getting involved in the live comments as per usual. If you're watching as a YouTube video, then please do leave your comments in the comment section down below, and we'll be getting to them all night as well. Big thanks for watching. Leave a like on the stream if you have enjoyed, subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. Don't forget to join me for my instant match reaction tomorrow game. Big game, big 3 points on the line, nothing less than that is acceptable. Big chance for Marco Silva to get a win after such a disappointing weekend last weekend. Big thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.